The Unscrewed Mind.
Welcome to episode 33 of The Unscrewed Mind. 33 is actually an important number for this one because what we're talking about are signs from the universe, more specifically warning signs. But did you know that 33 is like an angelic spiritual number that's supposed to mean that if you see 33 everywhere, that it means abundance and success and happiness is coming your direction. Did you know that?
No, but I did know that 33 was a significant number because of all of the different, what is it called? The Freemasons, 33 degree. I knew the number was significant, but I don't think I knew exact definition there.
Perfect. Well, I just think that the fact that it's a spiritual number and we're doing a spiritual topic is spot on. So today I want to talk specifically about warning signs from the universe because on our last episode, we talked about The Secret. We talked about how to use the law of attraction in the correct way in the episode before that. And then I think just from a law of attraction perspective, we know that like attracts like. It's important to make sure that you feel good and to set your intention, tell the universe exactly what you want, and wait for the universe to make something happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that kind of in a lot of regards means that there's a path that you have to walk down and that you have to stay on for the universe to be able to work with you and through you. And I was just curious, are there, like, if you deviate from that path, is the universe going to send you signs, or are there warning signs that say, hey, the direction you're going is not the direction you should be going? Here's kind of a warning signal or a message that says you need to get back on track. So I have 11 warning signs from the universe. And what I want to do is just quickly read them off and then go through them one at a time and see what you think about it. So here are the 11 warning signs that I've been able to come up with. So the first one is unexpected delays. So you may have a time designated for something and some weird event pops up to keep it from happening. An uneasy feeling in your stomach would be number 2. Number 3, you keep losing things. The fourth warning sign from the universe is frequent fights with loved ones or strangers. The fifth warning sign is you can't sleep. Number 6, you keep getting sick. Number 7, you're more clumsy than usual. Number 8, a feeling of dread or anxiety. Number 9, negative omens. Number 10, you get into like little accidents here or there. And then number 11 would be uncanny roadblocks. So that's kind of the list I want to go through today. But I think I'll like serve up the first question to you, Rusty. Do you feel like the universe sends you warning signs or kind of negative signals to kind of help move you back on track?
When I think of the first one that you mentioned, I think of like a being, like when you're using a GPS and you miss the turn, even though you should have gotten it. And
Right.
I always think that there's a reason why you miss turns sometimes, because it's like, you shouldn't have missed it based on you've got all the information, you're hearing audible turns, all this kind of stuff. You still miss it. And I think that it's like a way of, you never know what could have happened if you made the turn,
Right on time.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that there's for sure a lot of things that come into play like that, whether it's missing a phone call or, taking an unexpected phone call. I think that there's a lot of things that line up specifically to do with helping you better navigate what you're doing that you're not really thinking of at the time as helping you. You're thinking of it as a derailment type situation.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost like a spiritual test, if something pops up and it seems like a challenge and it's out of nowhere and you wonder, why does this keep happening to me? I think once you get through it and you're able to look back, maybe that challenge or that issue is what kind of led you to the perfect place at the perfect time. I think it's how patient can you remain during a situation that's, kind of testing you. It says a lot about kind of where you're going spiritually and kind of how far you've come spiritually.
Well, and there's also I've got specific instances of, as I've progressed and started watching my reaction to things, I would have things happen to me that previously would really make me mad. And I would have the reaction of how to get this person back for doing that to me or whatever, the case is. And I just feel way more comfort in knowing that if you are to do something against someone else, it's kind of like it reminds me of these warning signs, because if you don't react to something, then the universe handles the situation for you.
Mm.
So these warning signs can help you do just that. So if you're feeling unease about something that somebody has done, but then you don't do your typical, oh, I'm going to tell this person that, or do this, or think of all these different ways to get back at a person that you feel like has done you wrong, and just knowing that the universe is going to make it right regardless is just so much easier. And I've had multiple things taken care of for me by me just stepping back from it and letting go of the situation. And it worked out way better than any way that I could think of it.
Has anyone ever told you to listen to your gut? Like with the next one, you have an uneasy feeling in your stomach.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time when you've had an uneasy feeling and then, like, my dad used to always say, listen to your gut, boy, that was his thing. Like if your stomach ain't right, then something ain't right. And I just wonder if you've ever heard that, or if that's something that you think about from time to time.
Oh yeah. I mean, gut feeling for me has always been when somebody tells you that you can't do something. I've always gotten like a feeling inside of me that's like, it kind of makes me feel at unease with myself. And then it's kind of a way to know that what that person just said is incorrect, and it has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? And so the person is saying something that, like, you can't do this, okay, because of whatever. Like, you can't ride a bike because you haven't ridden a bike for so long. We'll just say that, okay?
You keep bringing up this bike stuff.
It was just funny. But so the person has fear in themselves to ride that bike, and they're just speaking of their own fear. And so you're getting an uneasy feeling because it's incorrect. That's the way that I look at it. But I don't know. Did it explain better that time, or are we still completely lost? You can just cut that.
No, I got it. And then for me, the uneasy feeling in my gut, I always got it when relationships were about to go south. Like,
right.
Just walking around, just feeling confident in the state of something, and then all of a sudden you're just like, man, something just doesn't feel right. And then right around that time, things started to crumble and fall apart. And it's I don't know, it seems uncanny and weird that that feeling always came about. It's like something was trying to tell me something, and it's telling me through that part of my body. And isn't that to have something to do with the chakras too? And like that part of your body is kind of like the root and like love, and like that's kind of the center of where like a lot of those relationship feelings are. I don't know if I'm taking that too far, but
no, that sounds right to me. I think that's everything kind of is really is a real gut feeling whenever you feel something that's really off, or if you're in a situation where maybe you're somewhere that's a dangerous area and somebody comes out behind you in a like a dark lit area. I mean, I've for sure been somewhere where it's kind of an uneasy place to begin with, and then somebody shows up on the street, and it just makes you more, maybe you're out late at night and you just see somebody that you don't think should be there, and then you have a feeling to maybe go the other direction or go inside of somewhere. And I
that's
think
a good one.
I think that the reason why that happens is for sure the universe, but it's also the way that the person is thinking. So that energy is being sent to you. So you're feeling what they're thinking, and it's just like an intuition to remove yourself from that situation. And, it's the same way for when you're a little kid. Everybody tells you don't take candy from a stranger, or they go up to a stranger's car. And, the whole when I remember where I grew up, you could ride bicycles pretty much all over a pretty large area, probably like 10 square miles. Or 10-mile radius, you could ride your bicycle around. And I would ride all over, probably, when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Probably wouldn't go full 10 miles, but I was always really aware of my surroundings. And if I saw a car that I wasn't used to seeing or something, I would immediately go the other direction. So I think it's something that's ingrained in us, and we take it for granted throughout our life. And you don't think, well, what could be giving me that information? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a reason why you're picking up on that energy.
The next one is you keep losing things. Is that kind of along the lines of an unexpected delay? Like if I can't find my keys, that seems like an unexpected delay. Like I was expecting to pick up my keys and go.
Yes.
Like maybe even like your bike being stolen, like any number of things that just come up missing when they're normally in the same spot all the time. Like how does that happen?
The universe does not want me to have a pair of AirPods. I just came to the realization of, maybe Apple needs to sell more AirPods really bad, because I have fought those for 4 years. I've got my AirPods here with the AirTag super glued to the front of them.
Man.
And it's so nice though. But now they're on iOS 15, they're releasing it where you can actually find the AirPods without the AirTag.
Gotcha.
So it just kind of makes me mad.
Is the universe trying to tell you something by hiding your AirPods, or is Apple's ability to manifest you needing more the strongest?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for sure.
Frequency in the universe, definitely. So what about frequent fights, either with a loved one or with complete strangers, when you're out and about? What kind of message do you think the universe is sending you with that kind of stuff? Is that like a test to see where you're at? Or, is it a way for you to get out of a situation, or maybe vet out a relationship or something that maybe isn't going to serve you long term? Like I just wonder what that warning sign could be for.
Well, I think that it has a lot to do with you being out of alignment with yourself. And so if you're fighting with somebody else on a consistent basis, you'll learn really quickly that it's the way that you're thinking and the things that you're doing that are actually causing the problem. And you have an expectation for that person to act a certain way. And when they don't act that way, then you're upset about it. And then it's causing fights because you're bringing it up, or whatever the situation is. And instead of focusing on yourself and changing yourself, you're causing issues by constantly focusing on things that don't improve the situation, but just hurt the situation. So I think it's a way for the universe to tell you that you're out of alignment.
Yeah, and you talking about that too. I did have people or mirrors written down, so I wonder if this is an opportunity for the universe to say, here's an issue you have inside of you. Here's an opportunity for you to understand that issue's there and maybe work on it later.
Yeah. Every relationship issue that I've had throughout my life, I can see that I was actually the cause of it, or still am the cause of the issue. And it's just you needing to let go of whatever it is and giving into it, instead of, and you cannot, maybe you can't change everybody because you're on different vibrational planes. I don't know what the exact answer is. Sometimes, rarely I will meet somebody that, just something doesn't feel right in the relationship from the very beginning. And you can't put your finger on it because the person doesn't do anything that really raises a red flag for you. But you're just like, maybe I shouldn't be around this person. You have a kind of a back of the mind feeling or a gut feeling that maybe this just person isn't the right fit for your life. I don't know if you've met somebody like that, but it's happened a few times for me.
When we've talked, we know I have a terrible memory, so it's probably happened.
Yesterday.
I don't remember. Yesterday. This morning. What about issues sleeping? I've definitely felt that, not only as part of the spiritual awakening, because we've talked that that's a side effect of a spiritual awakening, but it seems like when something's particularly troubling, or even if things just feel like they're going right, sometimes like it's just really hard to fall asleep. And it's terrible. I wonder like what the sign is, because I feel like as I'm going to bed, I'm just thinking about garbage. Like I'm not thinking about anything that long term has any real meaning, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I wonder like what the issue is, like what I'm trying to be taught at that point.
This throughout the spiritual awakening piece, my sleep was bad. I think yours was really bad too, but it was like months and months. I think it was probably 6 or 7 months of me not being able to sleep, maybe a couple hours a night. And I really didn't feel overly tired, which was kind of strange, but I just felt not 100%. But I think it was partially because of the energy that I was feeling from the transition in my life of feeling so much better about everything, that it like kind of counterreacted the non-sleep. And it was probably overstimulation for my mind that was not helping me sleep too, because I was, I think that everybody kind of lays there and thinks of things. But I will say that meditation kind of helps with that. However, if I meditate right before I go to sleep, it's not good.
Yeah, sure.
Have you had that problem? Have you done that before?
Yeah, I have. But sometimes it puts me to sleep, and then other times it does wire me up and
jolts you
and makes it impossible, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. What about sickness? Whether it's headaches, the sniffles, like aches and pains. Like, do you feel like some sort of like sickness, maybe even a short sickness out of nowhere, could be a sign from the universe to take a break? Because I know you and I talk a lot about how we don't get sick, how you have to will yourself to stay healthy because your body wants, like your mind plays tricks on you, and it's like, if I get sick, then I could take a break and no one will expect anything from me, and I'd hate to think that I have this positive attitude about health, and then I would have this, this guiding light or this angel that would be like, make him sick so he really understands what's going on. Like, are those things possible to exist at the same time?
I remember I would even say that getting sick makes me feel alive, because you feel when you're sick, you take for granted not being sick all the time, right? You don't notice that your body's not run down. And then when your body is run down, you have a very good understanding of what it was like not to be sick. So I don't know, I'm kind of strange, but I actually have said that throughout my life, that I feel like I'm more alive when I'm sick, which I do not say that at all anymore. So reject that thought. But man, when my daughter was young, I remember at around Christmas that I got sick like 4 times in a row and couldn't make it to work the entire month of December just because of it. And so did that mean I needed to take a break? Probably so, because a lot of people too, they will get sick if a vacation time is coming up, because your body's like, oh, I can rest and not fight as hard as I normally do or whatever. But I really think it has to do with you being in an unhappy place is where the sickness really comes from, because I think that you're more susceptible to things when you're not feeling right.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, even though maybe consciously you're not aware of how wrong the situation is, subconsciously your energy knows, and that's when it maybe it makes you sick to snap you into place and pull you and center you and kind of give you some time to consider what you're actually doing to yourself. What about clumsiness? Have you ever stubbed your toe and thought, oh, thanks, universe, I needed that, right? Like I needed a sign right now as I'm moving from the bedroom to the bathroom that I'm on the right track. What do you think about clumsy accidents as a
I,
sign, a warning sign from the universe?
I've never seen this. I mean, I've never heard of that. However, I do wear size 14 shoes, so I've got some huge feet, and
Mm-hmm.
I have stubbed my toe a lot throughout my life, and bad. I mean, like rip the toenail off type
Yikes.
situation. I remember I think it was like Memorial Day, and I had just showed up at my parents' house, and it was a 4-hour drive. I get out of the car and I think I went to look at something. Anyway, I was wearing flip flops, and I wear flip flops a lot, which is probably a bad
Mm-hmm.
thing. And they have the driveway with like the rock pebbles, and I tripped, and it was the worst ever. If I have a picture of it, I'll send it to you. It's
Yeah.
to put on here because it's one of the ugliest things you've ever seen. Yeah. So
So
if that means something, I have missed what I'm supposed to get from that because
you haven't learned that lesson because you keep on doing it.
yeah, no.
Keep on doing it. What about this one I kind of have issue with, like dread or anxiety. I feel like a lot of what we talked about is like getting out of your comfort zone, stretching yourself spiritually and emotionally, and going after the things that you don't have right now with earnest. And I think with getting out of your comfort zone comes anxiety from time to time because you're going to have to do some things that you're not comfortable doing. So I wonder, how would you tell the difference between anxiety that leads to growth and anxiety that's leading you um, in a direction that you're not supposed to be going? Like I wonder
Right.
how those two jive. I don't get it.
Well, I think that from an anxiety standpoint, in the last 2 years, I don't think that I've really had a truly anxious moment. More of, I think that before I would dwell on situations that haven't happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make me more tense about an upcoming conversation or an upcoming event or whatever. And then, but if you think about this, like, let's say you're in the grocery store and your mom and dad or your child goes onto another aisle, and then they go onto another aisle and you don't see them do it. And you have an anxious feeling trying to find them. That's like
Mm-hmm.
two totally different types of anxious to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it's more of that, anxious trying to find a child versus anxious being upset about doing something new. But, playing out the things that you're wanting to do the way that you want them to be before it happens, like Neville says, that's the way to overcome a lot of those issues that you have about situations that make you anxious. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe, just thinking how great a conversation is going to go before you have it or the day before you have it, how much that has to play into it. And you'll even get reassurance from the people that you're having that conversation with saying, well, this was a great conversation. I'm glad we had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was even thinking today, we're getting ready to go on vacation tomorrow, which means like time in an airport, getting a rental car, like driving in a strange city. And this morning I was like, I need to get a picture of the rental house we're going to be staying in. And I just need to imagine relaxing in the pool at that rental house at the end of the day. Like everything's fine, everyone's here, all of our stuff is here, and this is the end result of an overall positive day. And if I can keep
Mhm.
that picture in my mind, then everything else is going to go smoothly. So that's a really good point, and definitely the anxiety thing. Like maybe you're in the kitchen, and I remember this when Jake was like a 3-year-old. I was working from home, or I think I was in retail, so it was like I might have just been off, and I was like, it's too quiet. And I was like, maybe let me go see what Jake's doing. And I go in his room and he's playing in his bedroom, but on the floor next to him is a butcher knife, like a big old kitchen butcher knife. And I
Can
was
we
like,
put this on? Are we allowed to have this on a podcast?
I think so. And I was like, what in the heck? So he had gone in the kitchen and reached up on the counter, pulled down a kitchen knife, and just walked out of the kitchen like do as a stumbling 3-year-old, and gone into his bedroom with it.
Wow.
And out of nowhere, I'm like, I need to check on my boy. Sure enough, he's got a kitchen knife as tall as he is in there, and he's just sitting next to it. That was an anxious message from the universe right there. Keep an eye
Good
on your
Lord.
kid. What about negative omens? Do you believe that's a sign from the universe?
I'm going to choose not to believe in negative omens from right here. No, I mean, I don't even know what's a negative omen. I don't even know what that is.
Like a black cat crosses your path.
No, I don't believe in
Is that a sign for the universe? Okay.
No, that means there's a cat that needs to be pet.
Right? Broken mirror, just get a new mirror. No such thing as a bad omen.
Well, that's in Dr. Joseph Murphy's Power of the Subconscious Mind. People let things basically control their life. That's why you shouldn't really go see a psychic, because if they tell you something that you don't like and you keep thinking about it, you're going to be nervous, anxious about that forever. And you're going to bring it into your life because it's something that you don't want. So, but no, I don't, walking under a ladder, all that kind of stuff. I think that's all. I think that it all can happen if you want it to, but it's not something that I'm going to. Do you believe in that? Are you scared of
No, like
the
when I was reading about this before the episode, like it talks about how if a colorful butterfly flies next to you, it means you're going to be visited by like a friend, right? Or someone you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So it also talks about you see a whole bunch of crows or blackbirds flying around, like that means such and such is going to happen. And I don't know like specifically enough about that to know whether or not any of those things really foretell anything. But I think you're right. Like what happens in your reality is completely up to you. What about these next couple will go pretty quick, like tiny accidents, maybe like a physical accident. You may like a verbal hiccup, like you may stutter in like an important meeting, or you may say something kind of idiotic and like it's something that you can't get out of your head. Like these situations may, like you may not understand right now, but it may be a sign of the universe. It's like steering you back in a direction that you may need to go. And then uncanny roadblocks, like if you're trying to get something accomplished and challenges just keep popping up, these could be messages from the universe, like this is something you need to learn long term, or we're trying to get you to stop working towards this because maybe this isn't where you need to end up or where you're supposed to be. So I don't know if anything jumps out at you.
Yeah, I feel like that the roadblocks are created by us too. Because there's been so many situations throughout my career that I have thought that this may come up or that may come up, or, and it happens. And I really, looking back at it, I just feel like that I created it because it was something that I focused on and gave power to. And no matter what you give power to, you're creating. So, but I guess that there could be something that's offshoot that you're not thinking about in any way, and it doesn't work out. I can't think of a specific situation that I'm thinking of. Like if you show up to a restaurant and you have reservations and they don't have your reservations, but then they end up giving you something in return for it. I don't know. Like, that kind of stuff can happen. You can end up with something better by having a setback. But I can't think of a specific situation that's been for me really, but I do think that we create our own roadblocks for sure.
Yeah, definitely put some limits out there from time to time. And obviously signs from the universe aren't all negative. We're talking about warning signs right now, but there are positive ones too. whether there are life events that pop up that kind of are unexplainable, but make everything, make an experience better. Essentially, tiny manifestations that without them taking place, it wouldn't have led you to kind of your overarching goal. And then, the one that you like to talk about all the time, and it seems like they've been popping up, kind of like episode 33 today, is the synchronicities and the spiritual numbers and time on the clock.
What?
Like there's lots of stuff that could be a positive sign or a negative one. I just think the whole point is like how you react to it determines what it is in either direction.
What about rainbows? I really didn't notice many rainbows for quite some time period.
Mm-hmm.
And last year I saw like 10, and multiple of them were double rainbows.
Double
and
rainbows.
Double rainbow. Yeah, double rainbows. And so I just thought that was kind of awesome, but strange all at the same time, because I hadn't seen a rainbow in a very, seemed like long period of time. And then I was just seeing them all over. So kind of cool.
Yep. And I think what we've learned today is
no pots of gold though.
Not yet. Pot of gold's coming. Yeah. Keep looking.
What were we going to say?
I can't remember. I was like,
you said what we learned today.
What we learned today, based on what we learned today, if you're seeing a bunch of rainbows, if you believe that's a sign from the universe, and that's exactly what it is. That's what I was going to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's just like the synchronicity thing too, is we for sure are seeing what we want to see. Rainbows, the seeing butterflies, all that kind of stuff is signs from the universe, according to if you Google signs of the universe. So yeah, you definitely see what you want to see.
The Unscrewed Mind.